In this module, we will look at the various disciplines of neuroscience. As stated in previous modules, neuroscience is the scientific study of the nervous system. Understanding such a complex system requires a team effort. Biopsychologists are important members of the team. You will see how biopsychologists interact with other disciplines of neuroscience to shed some light and try to get a better understanding of the functions of the nervous system. In this slide, we see 7 different neuroscientific disciplines that are used to study behavior. We understand that each of these are unique and they're their own entity. However, like biopsychology, all these are integrative disciplines as they serve to unify things that would otherwise be separate. By understanding anatomical differences and physiological differences and chemical differences and many others, we get a better grasp of what behavior is caused by, and it allows us to understand trauma and the effects that it can have on individuals. Although there are many other disciplines of neuroscience, these are the ones that are particularly relevant to biopsychology. As you can see, starting off on the right side, we find neuroanatomy, and neuroanatomy is nothing more than the study of the structure of the nervous system. More specifically, we are able to separate and understand the central nervous system from the peripheral nervous system. Doing so allows us to understand reflexes and allows us to understand individuals who may have suffered injuries to their back and how that has affected their behavior or perhaps some functions. Neurochemistry is another neuroscientific discipline that contributes with the understanding of neurotransmitters that influence the functions of neurons. For example, seeing that individuals who suffer from depression are likely to have lower levels of serotonin has led to the development of medicine that could allow for the neurons to leave the serotonin levels at the synaptic gap for an extended period of time instead of doing what they normally do, which is to reabsorb. And that's what we call reuptake. We will talk more about this later. Neuroendocrinology is a study of the interactions between the nervous system and the endocrine system. More specifically, we look at our hormones and their relationship to our brain. The hypothalamus and pituitary glands are of interest to this specific discipline, as the pituitary gland is the servant, if you will, to the hypothalamus. However, it also reports all the different reads from our system and our body to the brain. And it is through this in here that we are able to mature. Boys will go through puberty in a particular way that is different than girls, and this is because of hormonal changes and differences that exist in our body. Neuropathology is a discipline that seeks to understand nervous system disorders. And one of the most popular nervous system disorders that is out there is Alzheimer's disease. And this actually gets its name from Alois Alzheimer, a neuropathologist that was an early contributor to the field in the early 1900s. We see that individuals who suffer from specific deficiencies in different parts of the brain can have difficulties recalling things that would have otherwise been stored in long-term memory. Understanding that this is not a sign of aging has allowed us to investigate the brain a little further, and typically the particular discipline is it's studied best when an individual has already died, as the studies often require invasive procedures that consist of slicing the brain and analyzing the cells posthumously. As stated earlier, neurochemists allowed us to understand the differences that exist in a person's brain who suffers from depression. And neuropharmacology would then make use of the knowledge that neurochemists discovered and then develop drugs that would help individuals perform better. Understanding the interaction between neurotransmitters in the CNS and PNS has led to the development of drugs that effectively treat pain and also Parkinson's disease, and also help delay the onset of Alzheimer's disease and many others. The last of the disciplines we'll look at in this slide is neurophysiology, which is a discipline that seeks to understand the functions and activities of the nervous system. More specifically, we seek to understand how it is that cells are able to communicate with one another and the different organelles and different cell types that exist to facilitate for action potential, which is the firing of neuron, the depolarization of cells that allow for a chain reaction in our nervous system that would then result in a behavior or thought process. Please do not worry if you do not fully understand these yet. We will continue studying these further, but be sure to understand how each of these specifically contribute to the understanding of neuroscience.